Pakistan is facing its worst ever food crisis, with parts of the country reporting a massive shortage of wheat and wheat flour.
Hi, everybody. Pakistan is going through the most terrible economic crisis in 50 years. People in Pakistan are literally fighting with each other for food. People are filling gas balloons here because they don't have money to buy gas cylinders. Pakistan rupee has witnessed its biggest one-day decline in over 2 decades. It has fallen to 281 Pakistan rupee against the dollar. Since Pakistan got its independence on the 14th of August 1947, it has been struggling with the economic, political, and terrorism-based problems, so much so that even the Prime Minister of Pakistan today feels like the country has been behaving like a beggar for the last 75 years. Let us try and understand. Why is Pakistan begging for help? Why is it that it is always in debt? What are the main reasons for Pakistan's stunted growth? Lessons that we must learn from this downfall. And most importantly, as their neighbors, how this can impact us. The video is very interesting. Watch it till the end, and if you like it, please share this video with as many people as possible. That would mean a lot to us. Pakistan today simply does not have any money. Pakistan's foreign exchange reserves are declining rapidly. Only 2.91 billion are left, which will not last for more than a month. Prices of essential commodities have increased in Pakistan. Inflation has hit a record high of over 30%. The situation, in fact, is so horrible that their minister has asked the nation to reduce the consumption of tea, as there is not enough money to import tea. In addition to this, to save on electricity, shopping malls and markets are instructed to switch off lights by 8:30 p.m. To cut the long story, such a horrible situation has forced Pakistan to try and save money and electricity in every way possible. Pakistan's Prime Minister has been reaching out to the United Nations for help. But what are the reasons that have led Pakistan into such turmoil? There are 3 main reasons for this situation: political, economic, and climate disasters. Let us look at each of them. Political. Politics in Pakistan, unfortunately, has always been nothing but a circus. Do you know, since 1947 till date in Pakistan, there have been 23 prime ministers, and absolutely none have completed their full term of 5 years. Last year, Shehbaz Sharif, along with 7 other parties, brought a no-confidence motion against Imran Khan and brought his government down. Most of the other prime ministers were ousted by the military coup or due to corruption. So, the question here is, what is the underlying problem with Pakistan? These issues are because of something called the Doctrine of Necessity. In simple words, Doctrine of Necessity gives special or dictatorship-like power to certain people to take some extra steps which may be against the existing laws or constitution. These steps may be against the constitution but are necessary to maintain law and order. This doctrine is like an emergency. It must be used only in exceptional circumstances. Once law and order are established, again the power must be shifted to the elected government. Now, because of this, Pakistan's military has become its most powerful institution. This means military general is the most powerful person in Pakistan, powerful than the Prime Minister himself. Now, Pakistani army chiefs have repeatedly used this power over the last 2 decades to overthrow the government elected by the people. The question is, how did this happen? Let's go back in time here. On the 14th and 15th of August 1947, India and Pakistan both got their independence. In Pakistan's early days, after the First Kashmir War, they started allocating a very high budget to its military. As high as 70% of their budget was spent on the military. This is how the military kept on getting more and more powerful, and eventually power started to shift from government. In 1954, the then Governor General was of the opinion that the parliament is not representing the people in the way it should, so he dissolved the parliament and removed the PM from his post. Although the Sindh High Court ruled in favor of the government and said that the general cannot do this, the Supreme Court supported the Governor General under Doctrine of Necessity. Now, as such an act was considered legal, the military used this doctrine time and again to dismiss the government and to win over political opponents. This way, every Governor General could have control and a final say. Since then, till date, the army generals have overthrown the government in Pakistan many times using this power, which has led to extreme instability and has shaken the foundations of Pakistan's development. Both the government and military officers were more concerned about protecting their power and making money for themselves first. There is absolutely no vision to grow the nation and development as such. All this while, the perception amongst people was that the military of Pakistan is taking necessary steps against the corrupt politicians who are failing to prioritize the country by not making the right policies for its people. Now it is too late, and political instability has become a way of life in Pakistan. Economic. The country had been facing a consistent decline in its economy for the past few years. Despite this, the debt continued to pile on. According to the estimates shared by the World Bank, Pakistan's economy will grow by only 2% this year, and the inflation may be higher than 25%. One of the biggest contributors to Pakistan's economic woes was its export-import imbalance. Pakistan was exporting goods worth $30 billion and importing goods worth $90 billion every year, leaving it with a deficit of $60 billion. Can you believe that Pakistan's GDP is $376 billion and the debt it has taken is $274 billion? Crazy, right? The interest on this high debt was making it impossible for Pakistan to break free from the debt trap. The government had to allocate 1/3 of its budget every year to repay the loans, leaving no money in reserves to provide even the slightest relief to its people suffering from high inflation. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has provided several financial assistance packages to Pakistan over the years, aimed at supporting the country's economic stabilization and reform efforts. For instance, IMF approved a $23 billion package for Pakistan in 2008, $4.3 billion financial packages in the year 2013, again followed by $4.26 billion in July 2019. After bailing Pakistan out of economic turmoil dozens of times, finally IMF now has come up with conditions and targets that Pakistan must meet in order to receive further funding, and these conditions are going to be very difficult for Pakistan to implement. Climate disasters. In the summer of 2022, Pakistan was hit by a severe climate disaster that left the entire country reeling. It started with a heat wave that lasted for weeks. The heat wave was followed by intense monsoon rains that lasted for several weeks. The rains were so heavy that they caused flash floods, landslides, and mudslides that swept away entire villages and communities. The floods destroyed crops, homes, and infrastructure, leaving many people homeless and without access to basic necessities like food and clean water. The floods destroyed entire communities, and many people lost their lives. Due to these problems, Pakistan today is struggling. In addition to these, Pakistan faces the danger of Taliban as well. The people of Pakistan are losing trust in all their leaders. There's a good probability that all these challenges may divide Pakistan into 4 different parts too. Impact on India. Even today, there are many countries which for some reason support Pakistan. Different countries together donated Pakistan $10 billion. Will this money reach the poor of Pakistan? Or will it again be used for military activities? India does not trade with Pakistan, so the economic impact is negligible. The people of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir today want to be a part of an emerging global power, India. But having such neighbors who are deep in China's debt, due to its debt trap policy, is no good sign for India. That's all for today. If you liked the video, please subscribe to Evolving Scholar. It would mean a lot to us.